What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we are here with Tomasz of the almighty THY CATAFALQUE. Thank you so much for being here today. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. You've been pretty busy. Thank you for giving us new music 2 years in a row. We got the new album, Vadak, coming out very soon. Was the intention to just make a direct continuation of what we heard off of the last album, Naive, or is this like a new start, or were you exploring new territory with this?
No, it's just the next one. There was no actual plan, just to make a new album. That was it.
Oh, really? It just was a spawn of the moment thing, like a moment.
But that's what I do. I just make records one after the other. So this was just the next one.
Okay. Do you ever enter it with like a preconceived idea of what you want it to sound like, or something like that, or is there like maybe a lot of experimentation or improvising involved?
No, it was only just to make it more exciting for myself. So that was all. So there's no special things, but just having some trying out new things, but nothing special really.
Okay. Do you feel that with every album that you've released for THY CATAFALQUE now, so like having so many different albums that it's almost like a representation or a self portrait of who you personally are at the moment, or do you not, or do you kind of distance yourself from the music? You kind of leave yourself out of it and express something different from who you personally are.
Well, I think the main thing is just to express yourself. So your personality is showing in the music. That's unavoidable. And I think that's what I do. So if you listen to the music, you can listen to the things I think about the world, and this is showing me in the music.
Okay. Do you feel that like maybe a concept or maybe like a story could help dictate the direction of the music in a way?
I never thought about this. So no, not for me. I
Okay.
just I just make songs. So there's no really a preconception when I start writing an album. It's just okay. Let's make some new songs. That's all.
Okay. Do you when you begin, does it start off with an urgency to create? Like, do you have like a usual place that you go to? Like, do you have like a usual studio or realm where the creative ideas sort of like flow through, or do you kind of do ideas sometimes spawn when you least expect it?
Well, I stay at home, especially now. So so I record at home. I do everything here in this very room where I am now. So it's just it's just coming. I mean, yeah, of course, there's an urge to make music or to create something, and that has been with me for the last 25 years or since my childhood. So it's always I would like to do something to create something, and and that's constant usually. So I just feel the urge and I have to do something and I do it.
Yeah. And I'd imagine inspiration sometimes strikes at a very inconvenient times, right?
Well, yeah, sometimes you just cannot really find out how it works. And I think that's a good thing because if I had the formula, then it would be boring and it would be like you know what to expect. But this way you just don't know what's happening. But otherwise, I think it's just a lot of work. I mean, you just have to sit down and try to work out the ideas, and they are just not coming like from the blue sky usually. So I have some vague idea, and then I have to work on it, and then after a couple of days, there's something good coming out of it. But it's very rare that I have something just okay, the riff, and it's I make a song, and it's done in 3 hours. I think it never happened, or happened only once, I think. And this is not how I work.
Yeah. Well, do you feel that sometimes, like, the longer you work on something, and I don't even know if this is at all a goal, but do you find that maybe, like, the longer you're working on something, the harder it is to kind of maybe capture a moment or, like, maintain that sort of creative energy in a way if you're working on something for a long.
After a while you have to stop because you don't want to overcook things. And I think still the best songs are are shorter to make, but unfortunately most of my songs are pretty long to make. And I really would like some very short ones and good ones, but no, it rarely happens to me, the way I make music.
Yeah.
So usually it's a lot of work, but there's one point where you know that, okay, that's it, you have to stop. You don't have to spend more time on a song because it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a point when you reach it and it's over.
Yeah. And plus, I consider your music. I mean, I don't know how some artists don't really like this label at all, but I do consider your music to be fairly experimental. And I think, when you look at all the albums compared to like Geometra to albums, such as this new one, like, I feel like there's a lot of different elements incorporated in there. So trying new things is always like part of your songwriting process, right? It's not like you like to stick with one style or stick with one certain sound or something like that, right?
Yeah, what I do is just doing anything that I want to try, so I don't limit myself. But I don't write songs experimental on purpose. So that's not my goal to be a pioneer in the music field, and I'm not absolutely. I'm far from this. So it's just I just want to make songs that's all. And if they are a bit more experimental, that's fine. But if they are not, that's fine as well.
Yeah. And being that you are a very prolific artist and have played with a lot of different bands such as Darklight or Gaia and so many other bands, like, is like the mind frame a little bit different depending on the songwriting process or like the method of creativity, or is there a usual method or idea that kind of like combines all of them together?
Now these bands that you talk about are not existing anymore. I mean, Darklight was
Yeah.
last album. The first and last album was released in 1999.
Yeah.
That's when that was what started. So Angier stopped 2007, I think.
Yeah.
So it's again 14 years ago when we stopped the band. So now I only have By Falk and all my ideas going to this project. Or I have Neo Lunar, I have my solo projects as well. They are significantly different stuff. So Neo Lunar is electronic music, and my solo albums are more like chamber music, piano and violin and cello. So that's a different approach. So all the metal things are going to that folk now.
Yeah. Well, I was curious if there was anything with your creative history that maybe made them similar, made the creative process somewhat similar at all, or.
I think my approach has been the same since day one. I do this thing how I do, and it's anywhere I am, it's the same for me at least.
Yeah. And do you feel that maybe like experimenting, like obviously we are all products of what we learn and stuff, so do you think that maybe kind of like a what if question, but do you think that with experimenting with and playing with previous projects in the past, that maybe that influence what you currently do now, or with every project you try to do something you've never done before?
No, they were different situations. I mean, with Gir, I was playing with my childhood friends, and it was a slightly different kind of music, and it was a real band. We practiced, we had gigs, plenty of gigs, so it was a different kind of approach. And with Darklight, that was some terrible orchestral software music, so it was computer generated music. And Neo Lunar is again electronic music, and so these are kind of different things. So there's different approaches, of course, but the situations are different as well.
Yeah. I almost feel like it's fair to say that for your musical inspirations and everything that you admire, because you tackle elements of electronics, you tackle elements of orchestra and classical music, you tackle elements of rock. Is it fair you've clearly have had many different musical inspirations throughout your career, right?
Yeah, because I like music and I listen to music, and plenty of different stuff is affecting me, of course. So I just like music.
Yeah. Is there any artists that are currently now that you're currently inspired by, or that are maybe influencing you, or that you think are really innovating creatively in music as well?
Recently, I listened to a lot of Arabic music. I don't know why, but I start to to listen to Arabic music, and yeah, that's I cannot really tell any particular artists, but in general, Arabic music, like Middle Eastern stuff,
Yeah,
I enjoy listening. Yeah.
the last Igor album that came out had a lot of that. I don't know if you listened to it, but that last album was amazing, and they brought some elements in that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And before we go, I just want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote with the release of this album?
Well, it will be released June the 25th, I think, and well, it's available, so you can pre-order if you want. And well, I think that's all.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. THY CATAFALQUE. Be sure to check out the new album Vadak coming out, Season of Mist, this June. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.